Just one final question, Mr. Borzar, and it has to do with the region of New York and somebody who's in the news a lot lately because she's most likely planning on running for higher office. It'd be Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. AOC has come and what looks like to us crossed the line a number of times, but two very curious stories out of her office. One, as soon as you were able to regain your position as border czar, AOC had a criminal alien who was working in her congressional staff flee the country. Now, I can't quite square how that's possible. How is somebody allowed to be a criminal alien in this country and then go work in Congress where you have access to classified material and you have access to a lot of important information? Then AOC has gone on and obviously taught publicly illegal aliens how to avoid ICE. She's done this with some of her colleagues in the squad. Here's the article of the criminal alien staffer that AOC had on staff. Maybe you could just start here and as an explainer to me and to this audience, like, how's this even possible?
It's not possible, and I know that's being looked at. I can't comment on past that. I'm aware of it. We've asked ICE to drill in on that case. It's my information that there were actually. I can't really comment on it. We don't know if it was illegal status or not at this point. It looks like it might have been temporary status, but I can't comment on the case. It's under investigation. As far as her educating people how to evade ICE arrest, she's really educating them on how to be prosecuted, because there are statutes on the books, federal statute, when you knowingly hinder your removal, that's a crime. When you take steps to prevent your removal after being ordered removed by a federal judge, it's a crime. We have instructed ICE to start prosecuting these cases. If you don't want to open the door, and we have a final order removal, if you don't want to participate in getting travel documents for your home nation, you take steps to hinder your own removal, that it's a crime, you'd be prosecuted. So she can claim she's educating people to constitutional rights. Mm-hmm. I'd argue she's educating many people on how to be prosecuted. You're going to see that happening.
I like that. She's definitely teaching people how to be prosecuted. But apparently, y'all, this is breaking news at this moment. Tom Homan just confirmed that there's an active federal investigation into Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez for allegedly hiring a criminal illegal alien, yes, to work for her on her congressional staff and to help them avoid ICE, apparently. This ain't just no regular internet drama today, y'all. This right here is going federal. And oh, yeah, she can actually be looking at real jail time if this plays out. But listen, this is not the first time Tom Homan and AOC cross paths. Nope, not at all. This beef goes way back.
Mr. Homan, your name is on this. Is this correct?
Yes, I signed that memo.
So you are the author of the family separation policy?
I am not the author of this memo.
You're not the author, but you signed the memo.
Yes, a zero tolerance memo.
So you provided the official recommendation to Secretary Nielsen on for the United States to pursue family separation.
I gave Secretary Nielsen numerous recommendations on how to secure the border and save lives.
But it says here that you gave her numerous options, but the recommendation was option 3, family separation.
What I'm saying, this is not the only paper where we've given the Secretary numerous options to secure the border and save lives.
And so the recommendation, of the many that you recommended family separation.
I recommended zero tolerance.
Which includes family separation.
The same as is with every U.S. citizen parent gets arrested when they're with a child.
Zero tolerance was interpreted as the policy that separated children from their
If I get arrested for DUI and I have a young child in the car, I'm going to be separated. When I was a police officer in New York and I arrested a father for domestic violence, I separated that father from his family.
Mr. Homan, with all due respect, legal asylees are not charged with any crime.
When you're into the country illegally, it's violation 8 United States Code 1325.
Seeking asylum is legal.
If you want to seek asylum and go through the port of entry, do it the legal way. The Attorney General of the United States has made that clear.
Okay.
You see that? Told y'all, man, this is not nothing new. AOC tried to come at Tom Homan years ago, tried to grandstand, tried to play all those woke games. But he cooked her with straight facts. I'll go far as to say deep fried her. And look, Now look, the same man years later is the one confirming a federal investigation into her. Let me show y'all something. This ain't just about policy disagreements. Nope. This woman's entire career, her whole persona, her whole brand built on lies. Let's take it back.
Okay, so someone asked me to expose AOC and to give her background. Say less. So AOC, also known as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she is U.S. Representative of New York's 14th Congressional District. So the way she portrays her life is in such a woe is me. I was in a working class. I lost my father at a young age. I had to work to help pay the bills. I came from the Bronx. I'm a Bronx girl. But in actuality, she was born in Parkchester, Bronx, moved 40 minutes north of the Bronx. She grew up in the suburbs, Westchester County, which now homes are selling for like $900,000 for perspective. AOC attended Yorktown High School, a very prominent high school, again, in the suburbs, but she's a Bronx girl. So back in 2019, when she was running in office, she said that she would be portraying and representing the working class. And I find that ironic because her father was an architect. She was actually from a middle-class family, and her father, that small-owned business that he owned, he founded an architectural firm. His architectural firm's name is Kirschbaum and Ocasio Roman Architects, PC. So most of her campaigning is about how she was a bartender. She had to work to help provide for her family after her father's passing. Her father passed from lung cancer, but in 2008, she was a sophomore in college at that time. So after her father's passing, the company that he started, it didn't just end. It's still in existence, bringing in like over $500,000 revenue annually. Even if she were to work as a bartender to help pay the bills, wouldn't you think that she would attend college nearby in New York and not out of state at a private university, Boston College? Boston College currently costs $93,000 for out-of-state students. So when AOC is in front of minority groups, I notice her accent changes. She starts using words like ain't. So she was in front of a minority group and she's saying, I'm proud to be a bartender. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You're right, AOC, there is nothing wrong with being a bartender, but what is wrong is changing your dialect and your tone to suit the audience that you're thinking appeases to them. The Democratic Party I find funny because it has a tendency to just have their people switch up accents based on who they're talking to.
Literally.
Jasmine Crockett does the same thing, and so does Kamala Harris. So what's my message? My message here is it's okay to relate to people, but it's another to just lie about your upbringing to appease to people that you think will relate to you. There's no need to be ashamed of your upbringing, how you were raised. Talk about the actual history of how you were raised. But to say you're from the Bronx, you come from a working class, a small business owner that your father was, it's just not accurate. So my personal opinion, another plant in the Democratic Party.
So let me get this straight. You grew up in Yorktown Heights, a nice, wealthy, quiet suburb is what I'm hearing. But now suddenly when the cameras are on, you from the block. You throwing on accents and switching them out like hats or something. This is what Democrats do. They sell you struggle stories while living off privilege. They switch accents, switch narratives just to pander. And guess what? We be falling for it. Me not no more. But y'all, hey, not y'all, you know, who over here in the kingdom. Not if you subscribed, you ain't fell for it. But if you just watching, you falling for it. I don't know what y'all thinking, man. Come on, Kingdom Reacts. Blitz, by the way. It ain't bad. Oh, really? Well, even George Santos. And look, that man got his own mess. He couldn't even help but check her on this fraud. Watch this, the irony.
Hey, Sandy, George Santos here. I know a thing or two about getting caught up with just making shit up that's just not real, and it doesn't pay. So I do want to caution you. Cut the Bronx girl act. We all know you're from Westchester. We all know you come from a privileged background. There is no shame in that. I know it just kind of goes contrary to all of your, you know, socialist, communist appreciations and aspirations. But the gig's up, Sandy. Come on. You went K through 12 in Westchester. Yorktown Heights, and all of a sudden now you're AOC from the block. I bet you couldn't point out the block if you even wanted to. So, like, let's cut the bullshit and just come clean. Look, come clean. It is so liberating. I'm telling you, girl, you ain't from the Bronx, girlfriend. I'm telling you. Did you know you ain't from the Bronx?
I like how he called her Sandy. But you know it's bad when George Santos, a man who got a PhD in line apparently, feels morally obligated to call you out for being fake. And guess what? I hear he supports Trump too. So even the fraud himself had to pause and say, nah, you're lying too much. Now, I don't know this whole if he supports Trump or not. That's just what I came across from the post after I actually to summarize it for me. But don't worry. The internet wasn't done. People started putting the receipts, screenshots, tweets, yearbooks, and everything. Let me show y'all this before I get to that. Y'all see this? This is what happened when the internet does what the media refuses to do. And it don't stop here. This is the yearbook photo that's going viral right now, y'all. Yep. There it is. The yearbook. Yorktown High School. Alexandria Cortez. Not a Bronx girl. Not a product of struggle. A well-off kid from Westchester County who finessed their way into Congress off a fake image. And y'all wonder why the Democrat Party is collapsing. Because people are waking up. Y'all listen to this.
I speak like a girl from the block.
And again.
I grew up first generation in the Bronx.
And again.
Girls from the Bronx are welcome everywhere.
In fact, AOC just pulled the Bronx girl card again this week, responding to President Trump, saying she would eat a Queens boy like Donald Trump for breakfast.
I don't think he knows how to deal with a girl from the Bronx.
Something's very wrong here. What functional adult repeats where they're from this often? Someone who's lying. And here's the dirty little secret. AOC is not actually from the Bronx. AOC was an infant. Her family has lived in a beautiful little hamlet called Yorktown Heights. This little town is the opposite of AOC's gritty, downtrodden, working-class persona. It's clean and beautiful and safe. The neighborhood that AOC grew up in is well off, leafy and manicured. AOC went to elementary, middle, and high school here. She graduated from Yorktown High, where she went by the name Sandy Cortez. And then she graduated Boston University with an economics degree. Since AOC is about to run for president, we thought it would be important to investigate.
Just wanted to further show y'all that she been out here lying to y'all. I already told y'all that the Democrat Party is collapsing. This might surprise you to see who is about to. I mean, look, this guy took the time to marinate this. You know how you're supposed to marinate your chicken the day before if you want the flavor to really seep in. So Chris Cuomo, he definitely was at the crib. He took some AOC, threw it in the refrigerator, threw some seasoning on her, and I promise you, when I tell you, he cooked her, and it was good.
Two, that principle is empty outrage, okay? And that is AOC's signature cause. That is why for 6 years, AOC has accomplished nothing but a social media following in Congress. Find a major law she passed as the lead sponsor. The best you'll find is an attempt at the Green New Deal, which was a disaster for Democrats. She hasn't done anything effective about healthcare prices that are going up. People are getting 20, 30% increases in their premium. Where is she on that? Rent prices going up. She just wants it free, right? Just makes people angry, just plays to outrage. I don't know what's worse, being so impractical or so incendiary. But the time for two, that principle is empty.
It's not just folks on the right saying it. As you see, you got Chris Cuomo himself. Cooked her. 6 years in Congress, nothing accomplished but a social media following. Facts. I haven't heard about any laws passed on her behalf. No wins for the people, just outrage. You got fake tears and Twitter fingers. And speaking of fake outrage, y'all remember this? know, this is who she fights for. Not Americans, not you, not me. She fights for criminals. She fights for people on the terror watch list and then has the nerve, to get on the House floor crying about shoplifters facing deportation. I wish I was making this up, but I'm not. I'm not, y'all.
Right, New York, I want y'all to pay attention to this, okay? We've seen certain Democrats get up and rally behind Zohan Mamdini, an Ishmaelite who is running to be mayor, a socialist democratic Ishmaelite. Now, who is Ishmael? Ishmael is one of the sons of Abraham, and the Bible describes these people as a wild man. It says Ishmael is a wild man. His hand is against every man, and every man's hand is against him. And clearly this man's policies is going to lead New York to be in Venezuela and lead to people being in ration lines, okay? But what we can see is the Democratic playbook. You know, he wants to hand out free everything, and then he said government control. Let me tell y'all something about that government control. You give government the control, you on your way to the mark of the beast. If the government controls your grocery stores, that means they can control how much you buy. Okay, that's called rationing. And it's on its way. And so I see Greasy Al Sharpton standing behind him. I see other Democrats standing behind him. So I want y'all to pay attention to the Democrats that are standing behind this guy. All the sleazy ones that we've known for years, your Maxine Waters, your Al Sharptons, your Pritzkers, your Raskins, your Jamie, all of these guys, they all sleazy. One thing that I do know is if the Democrats like you, it's terrible. And if the Democrats hate you, you're probably good for America. I'm just saying. So anytime I see these radical, like AOC standing up for her, you know, she ain't got much for brains up there. But anytime you see that, y'all run for the hills. Don't y'all put that up in there. Don't y'all put that just because he say free. Free mean control. Free means control. Free means I'm going to give you something, but you got to give me something. Because there ain't nothing in this life that's free. Nothing. So I want y'all to pay attention to that. Anytime you see Al Sharpton rallying behind somebody, run, baby, run.
I know that's
Go
right.
America.
I agree with that last statement for sure. But you see it. Look at the crew. You got Zoran Mandani, have you said his name? Al Sharpton, Maxine Waters, AOC. The same playbook, radical socialism. Government control, empty promises of free this and free that. Y'all know how they roll. Until you end up like, look, they hate this country. Let me just say that. They hate law and order. They hate sovereignty. They hate anyone, man. Anybody who dares step off the Democrat plantation and think for themselves. I want y'all to check her melting down over shoplifting deportation bill.
Wants to point a finger and accuse someone of shoplifting, they will be rounded up and put into a private detention camp and sent out for deportation without a day in court, without a moment to assert their right and without a moment to assert the privilege of innocent until proven guilty. Without being found guilty of a crime, they will be rounded up. That is what is inside this. If someone wants to point a finger and accuse someone...
And now it all makes sense. The fake outrage, the fake Bronx accent, the tears, the gaslighting. This woman she's been protecting criminals from day one, apparently. And guess what? Criminal lying herself. That's exactly why the federal investigation was never a surprise. I'm not going to lie. You hire criminal, illegal alien, you coach them on how to avoid ICE, you are obstructing law enforcement. Hey, you get what's coming for you, which is a felony. This is when you build your entire career off fraud, off lies, off manipulation. And protecting criminals, apparently. The truth is going to catch up to you. AOC could be looking at real federal jail time. Y'all be safe. Go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. Peace.